Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning about algebra, algebra, and under algebra, we'll be learning mathematical sentences. So at this point, you're probably wondering what algebra is, and what exactly we're talking about sentences in mathematics. Basically, we know about sentences in English language, You know how to form sentences in English language. But then I'm going to teach you today about sentences in mathematics, alright? Now, as the lesson progresses, anything you don't understand, be sure to contact your tutor who would be more than happy to help. And yes, let's jump right into the lesson. So, algebra, mathematical sentences. So now, what exactly are mathematical sentences? Now, a sentence in mathematics is a statement that contains an equal sign. Okay, quite simply, this. Okay, so pretty much when you have something like this, a sentence in mathematics is a statement that contains an equal sign. So basically 2 plus 5 equals 7 is a sentence. Okay, so basically it says 2 plus 5 equals 7. It's giving you information that 2 plus 5 equals 7, and basically that is a sentence. Now similarly, 14 minus 3 equals 11. Okay, this is another sentence. All right, now there's a very special form of sentences that you should be somewhat familiar with, okay? You probably learned this in primary school, okay? And basically, they're called open sentences. So, open sentences. Now, what exactly are open sentences? Now, an open sentence is an incomplete sentence, okay? So, an incomplete sentence that may be true or false. All right. So basically, if you could have an open sentence like this, and basically we usually represent the incomplete part of the sentence with a box, okay? And this box, we're expected to put something in this box. Now, this is a good example of an open sentence. So we have 2 plus box equals 7, okay? And basically this is asking you have an open sentence, usually ask the question, is what will you put there to make this sentence true? Now, if you put 5 in box there, 5 in the box, basically you then have 2 plus 5 equals 7. Now basically, we know that this is true. But if you go ahead and put maybe 3 in the box, basically your sentence becomes false because 2 plus 3 is not 7. Okay, so an open sentence, basically you usually have 2, you can have 2 plus something equals 7. Okay, and basically the open sentence is simply asking you what would you put in that box to make the sentence true. Now, here are a few examples. Okay, so I have 8 equals box plus 3, box divided by 8 equals 10, and 5 equals box minus 2. And basically, I need you to look at this and take a moment to identify what numbers you would put in that box, in those boxes, to complete the open sentences, okay, to make the sentences closed and make them true, okay. Now, so basically for the first one, we have 8 equals box plus 5. What box plus 3? What would you add to 3 to give you 8? So 8 equals something plus 3. What is that number? And basically we have 5 in that case. And then we have box divided by 8 equals 10. So we have a given number divided by 8 gives you 10. What is that number? Number is 80. Okay? And similarly, 5 equals box minus 2. A certain number minus 2 gives you 5. What is that number? The number is 7 because 7 minus 2 gives you 5. And that's it. Very basically, very, very simple. Now, let's go ahead and talk about another form of sentences, okay? And we're going to talk about algebraic sentences, okay? Algebraic sentences. Actually, very simple. Now, in mathematics, we often use letters to represent values in open sentences, okay? So as opposed to using a box, we make use of a letter. So, you could have 2 plus x equals 7, okay, and just like your box, x represents a certain number, okay, and basically we need to x is represent something, a certain number, and basically this is just like your open sentence. It's telling you 2 plus something gives you 7, okay. So using the letter instead of the box, it's really no different, but then 2 plus something gives you 7. or 14 minus a equals 11, another open sentence, another algebraic sentence. And then basically, if you work it, you have that 2 plus 5 gives you 7, so x in this case is 5. And then you have 14 minus 3 gives you 11, so a is 3, quite simply. So the field of mathematics, basically, I believe this should be the first time you're seeing anyone make use of letters in mathematics. And basically, the field of mathematics that makes use of letters is called algebra. Okay, and then these types of sentences are called algebraic sentences. Okay, so the field of mathematics that makes use of letters is called algebra, and these types of sentences are called algebraic sentences. Now, let's go ahead and solve some examples. So we have example 1, all right? And example 1 says, find the values of the letters that would make the following sentences true. So we have some algebraic sentences here, okay? And we have given letters. And we're looking for values for these letters that would make the algebraic sentences true. Now, we'll go ahead and solve those, okay? And basically, the first one, we have 2 plus n equals 5. And we're simply looking for a number for n that would complete this sentence. Okay, so 2 plus something equals 5. What would you add to 2 to give you 5? I tell you the answer is 3. So n in this case is 3. Now, similarly, we have 15 minus z equals 10. Okay, so 15 minus z equals 10. And then basically we've been asked, what number would you subtract 15 minus something equals 10? What is that thing? What number would you subtract from 15 to give you 10? I tell you, your answer in this case is 5. Okay, so z equals 5. Now, another one, 12 equals b minus 17. Okay, so this one is a very interesting looking one. Okay, and basically we've been asked that when we subtract 17 from a certain number, the result is 12. So b minus 17 is 12. So what would you subtract 17 from that would give you 12? Can you think? A certain number minus 17 gives you 12. What is that number? Number that you will subtract 17 to give you, I'll tell you that that number is 29. Okay, because if you subtract 17 from 29, you get 12. Okay, are you with me? All right, so let's go ahead and solve a few more examples. We have example 2. Example 2. And example 2 says, find the values of the letters that would make the following algebraic sentences true. Okay, so just similarly, we have, but in this case, we're working with multiplication. So 2 times 14 equals y. What is y? So 2 times 14 equals something. What is that thing? 2 times 14 equals 28. So y is 28. Simple. Another one, 28 equals 7g. Okay, so this looks like we're missing a sign. All right, but I'm going to tell you something very interesting about algebraic sentences. Sometimes we choose to leave out the multiplication sign. So 7g is the same as 7 times g. Okay, so just so if you ever see this anywhere, okay, so just so you're not confused, we often leave out the multiplication sign. So we can write 7 times g as just 7g. Okay, so 28 equals 7g, 28 equals 7 times g. The question is asking you, what would you multiply by 7 to give you 28? Can you tell me? What would you multiply by 7 to give 28? Okay, I tell you, the answer is 4. So in this case, g represents 4. G stands for 4. Now, another one, we have v divided by 4 equals 9. So v divided by 4 equals 9. And basically this question is simply asking you that something divided by 4 is 9. What is that thing? A certain number divided by 4 will give you 9. Okay? And I tell you that the number that you divide by 4 to give you 9 is 36. So in this case, V is 36. Okay, so it's actually very, very simple. Yes, we're using letters in mathematics, all right? But then there really isn't much to it, okay? It's actually quite simple. It basically just asks you, you have a given sentence, for example, 2 or v divided by 4 equals 9, okay? Just asking you what is the number, what does v stand for, or what is the number that you would divide by 4 to give 9, okay? Now, another example. Example 3. And example 3, we have find the values of the letters that will make the following algebraic sentences true. We have x plus x equals 8, 25 equals r times r. Basically, we have two letters in this case. Okay, quite still pretty much the same principle. Okay, but then we have that x plus x equals 8. So we have a number plus itself will give you 8. What is that number? A number that you add to itself, okay? You need to think about the number. Basically, you really just need to think. A number plus itself will give you 8. I tell you that number is 4 because 4 plus 4 gives you 8. Now, similarly, we have a number multiplied by itself will give 25. So r times r gives 25. What is r? What is that number that you multiply by itself to give you 25? R is 5. Okay, so because 5 times 5 is 25, so r is 5. Now, finally, we have 12 minus m would give you m. So we're looking for a number that we will subtract from 12. And when we subtract this number from 12, our result is the same number. Okay, so a certain number subtracted from 12 gives the same number. I will tell you that that number is 6 because 12 minus 6 will give you 6. Okay, so m in this case is 6. You really just need to think about it. Very, very easy. Just think about it. What would I add to itself to give me 8? 4. What would I multiply by itself to give me 25? 5. What would I subtract from 12 that will give me the same number? 6, because 12 minus 6 gives you 6. Now, I think we have two more examples. Example 4. And example 4 says find the values of the following statements when x is 4. Okay, so basically we have statements in this case. Now I'll tell you about statements. Statements are sentences without an equal sign. Okay, so for statements we don't have an equal sign. So anything that doesn't have an equal sign is a statement. For example, we have x plus 5, x minus 4, 28 minus x. These are all statements because they do not contain equal sign. But then we've been told that x equals 4, okay? And basically we've been asked to solve the statements when x equals 4. And quite simply, all you need to do is just put 4 for x in the statement. So let's do it, okay? So watch closely. Now, we have x plus 5, and we've been told that x is 4. So we basically just put 4 for x in the statement. Okay, so x plus 5 equals x plus 5, and we've been told that x equals 4. So we just go 4 plus 5, and you have 4 plus 5. When you solve that, you have 9. Very simple. Okay, now can you do the second one? The second one says x minus 4, and we know that x is 4. The question says x is 4. Okay, find the values of the following statements when x is 4. That's what it says. So x is 4, and I put 4 in the place of x there. And basically what you have is you have 4 minus 4, and 4 minus 4 equals 0. Okay, because x is 4. So we put 4 for x in the statement. Now, what if we have 28 divided by x? So 28 divided by x, we've been told that x is 4, so 28 divided by 4, and 28 divided by 4 gives you 7. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, our final example, example 5. Example 5 says find the value of the following statements when m equals 7. Okay, so m equals 7, and we have m plus 5 plus m. Okay, and we're just going to put 7. Anywhere you see m, put 7. Okay, and now we have m plus 5 plus m, and like I said, if you see m, put 7. So we have, and we know that m is 7, so we have 7 plus 5 plus 7, and this gives us 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 7 equals 19. Now, another one, 2 minus m plus m. Okay, so wherever you see m, put 7. So 2 minus 7 is minus 5. Okay, and then minus 5 plus 7 equals 2. 2 minus 7 plus 7 equals 2. And then final step, final example. Basically, we have m minus 13 plus m is 7. So wherever we see m, we put 7. So 7 minus 13 plus 7. And when you solve that, 7 minus 13 is minus 6. Okay, and then you have minus 6 plus 7. This gives you 1. So 7 minus 13 plus 7 equals 1. That will bring us to the end of this very simple lesson. Okay, mathematical sentences. So a sentence in mathematics is just simply a statement that contains an equal sign. Okay, so when it contains an equal sign, it is a sentence. Okay, we learned about open sentences. Open sentences, we make use of boxes. So you have something like 2 plus box equals 7, and you ask to find what would you put in that box that would make the sentence true. And then we know that 2 plus 5 equals 7, so we put 5 in the box. Alright, and then we learned about algebraic sentences where we simply make use of letters instead of boxes. So basically you have something like 2 plus m equals 7, and then you have to work what m is. And if 2 plus m is something, 2 plus something equals 7, I believe you'd agree with me that m in that situation would be 5. So you can go ahead now and attempt questions on the worksheet. Bye for now.